Welcome back to another episode of Skeptic's Corner. This is the USS North Carolina. It's a very beautiful ship. Very, very beautiful ship. I would love to hear you guys' first impressions of the ship and your thoughts going into it before. Go ahead.
I knew a little bit of the history because we did the tour beforehand, but I didn't know what to expect going in because it's the first time we've done a ship, and there's a lot of stories, and obviously there's a lot of like tragedy that can happen on ships, and especially one that's been in so many wars. There's so much tragedy around it, so I definitely had high hopes for things that could make me a believer. I'm not sure all of them or most of them were met, but
already. We're just supposed to be talking about what you look like.
It was a beautiful ship. It was awesome. The only thing I did not like is it's not made for tall people.
Okay.
Because my back was on fire from having to be the Hunchback of Notre Dame the whole time.
Did you rock your head at all in there?
Like 2 times.
Okay. Maeve, because I'm gonna get to Taylor last, because this was really good for him. So, Maeve, your thoughts going into it and your thoughts of the ship.
The ship's massive. I mean, there's not much you can say that hasn't been said about just how magnificent that ship is. I have been in there before and investigated before, so I had a lot of high hopes going into it.
You have a military background too, right?
Yeah. My husband's in the Marine Corps. I was in the Coast Guard, so.
Coast Guard?
Let's not even get into it. Nope. Nope.
Okay. What about you?
I'd been to that ship probably when I was 7 or 8 with my dad. So I had been in as a guest, like a tour guest, but I hadn't been, 20 years. So it was cool getting to go back. When you first look at it, you just see like the presence of it. It's just like, wow, it's crazy. It's just like, I can't believe this is something we made to use to fight wars, and it like went through World War II. This is really cool. The port it's in, the surrounding area is just really cool. So I was really excited that we were getting that thing to ourselves. It's crazy that we got it to ourselves for 2 nights. So you can rent a battleship. Pretty wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I have a question for you guys from a fan of ours. They want to know, before we dive into this investigation, how different was this investigation from other investigations? Because normally the other investigations, there's like murders, there's criminal activity, there's all type of, but this one was, the history of this was a battleship that was used and a military presence. So was there any difficulties y'all faced or we faced going into this investigation, because we couldn't go into it like a normal one? Or did we go into it like a normal?
Yeah. Well, the size is definitely an issue because you can only we have these cameras that are connected to Ethernet cords that can only go so far. So when you're going to the depths, it's hard to get a lot of static cams in there because it just won't reach. But other than that, I think the dynamic that was really noticeably different to me was it's not as scary going in. It's still scary, but it's like, it's not as creepy because, like people who died on the ship are like Navy guys, as opposed to like, a woman who killed her husband with an axe or something creepy like that. It's less dark.
Yes. Yeah. What about you, Gary?
So I would say probably in the same realm he was saying, like most of the time when you go to a haunted location, there's a lot of death where somebody got killed at the house, or it's like a sanatorium or somewhere with lunatic asylum, things like that, where there's a lot of negative energy there. Like this is more of a positive energy I'd feel for like a ship is based around people that are fighting for America, fighting for us, and they're living on that, their camaraderie that was on the ship. So I think it's just a whole different feel than, which Maeve will probably tell more about the feel because she gets more of the feels than anybody. But I think that's what probably was the bigger difference is it's even when something happened to Taylor, if this was at Bobby Mackey's, he's running out because of the negative aspect. Yeah. I think because it was more of a positive, it makes him more want to stay.
can see that. Maybe with you having the military background that you have and stepping aboard a ship, like stepping out of one military as the Marine Corps, stepping into the Navy, out of the Coast Guard, how much different was it for you? Because, I mean, each branch has a different way of doing things. Seeing that branch and how they did things, I mean, I know you had jokes because there's jokes.
It's the whole, yeah, there's that whole thing. No, honestly, anytime, like you guys were saying, hospitals are one thing. We always try to be respectful of ghosts, but there's a different kind of reverence when you walk onto a battleship like that. Like it becomes way more respectful, you know. And I mean, we always should be respectful no matter where we go, but it just feels like, well, for me, any kind of military, you know, like you got to be on your best behavior. You don't mess around with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't belittle. Don't make stupid calls. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I had to be on my best behavior. Yes. So it was like, that's the only thing that's really different. Again, the positive feeling. I wouldn't describe it as positive, but it was definitely not a dark, horror-filled kind of feeling. So
noise, because I think that's going to be that one word, noise, is going to be something that resonate with this entire Skeptics Corner, because at some points it was quiet, like as a mouse, like you could hear a mouse fart if you wanted to. Ants play cards, like you could hear all these things. But then on another note, it was so loud that it was deafening. I couldn't hear shit where I was. Yeah. So I would love for all three of you guys to kind of tell us the noise that you guys were hearing, because I couldn't hear any of that. Like it was dead silent to me both nights. Yeah. And you were like, you guys don't hear that? And I'm like, hell no, I don't hear that. Even when Maeve was sitting in there with me, right, you included, like you couldn't hear how loud it was. So when we talk about loud noises, or we talk about noise pollution, would you consider this noise pollution? I know Gary would. Noise pollution because it's a metal ship, it's sitting in the water, you're gonna have the aches, the creaks, the things like that, or am I just overthinking it?
No, I think when I was going in, I was worried about that too, thinking, oh, it's on water. Yeah. So you're gonna be moving. Like, is that gonna be an issue? And to me, it was way quieter than most places we've been. I think because it's metal instead of wood, you get less of those creaks and cracks than you would. I think if you do hear noise, it's more like bing, or those kind of weird noises, as opposed to creaks, cracks. To me, there were certain areas of that ship that just had unexplainable noises. Now, you don't know if, like, a lot of it, like, over time you wonder, is it your head playing tricks on you? Is it something you're hearing in your head, or is it actually like, am I hearing footsteps and whispers? Because the whole time you're in there, like, it's so quiet, but then there's also in, like, the background, you just, like, in the way distance, you feel like you're hearing something. Now, there were parts of the ship that had like AC running. That's about the only thing that was running in that entire ship was an AC unit, I think, and it was in like two or three of the spots you could hear it pretty loud. That one cook station, I think, that area, like, you could hear, it was very, very loud. It's almost impossible to do any kind of investigating in that room because it was so loud. But the other rooms, it was pretty quiet. But you hear those footsteps and those murmurs, and it's unsettling.
Yeah, I found it interesting because Maeve, you and Taylor were setting up, and you sound like what you heard was an old phone. And then out of nowhere, I don't know where the hell Gary popped up at. I don't know if he came out of a hatch or if he jumped out of one of them little ass doors and he was like, that was me. Yeah. What happened there? Like, was it your phone, Gary, or was it? I don't know what that. I thought
honestly,
it was when he was sitting.
I was setting the cables
wires
down on the metal. Y'all kept hearing it because I had to keep bringing the cords as I was running.
It sounded kind of like a bell.
So when you were sitting the cords down
on the metal, you'd hear that sound because it's metal. The reel's metal. So when I set it on the metal, it made a ting. So, and I was running the cables from the tent to set them down for them to bring them down there, and they'd hear it every time I set it down.
Okay. So Maeve, you heard a thump during the setup that was really loud. You called Taylor over and was like, Taylor, did you hear that? And Taylor was listening. He also heard a loud thump, and it was coming from the hallway. So can you explain kind of what it sounded like, what you heard?
Show you what it sounded like. I caught this on my iPhone. So this is what it sounds like, okay? So that's the thump. That's how loud it was.
That's loud.
And so we had a guy at the con say it could be metal, popping or whatever, but that same spot like 20 times over and over for just a certain period of time, and then it stops and goes away.
So it wasn't rhythmic. It wasn't
No,
like one.
it was like almost like it would obviously wouldn't be able to hear it if we weren't there, but it almost like when we walked by, it like was trying to get our attention. Like even when we were kind of close by, we didn't hear it as much. But as soon as we walked down that hallway, it would, every single time.
You want to chime in on that, Gary?
Yeah, so like he alluded to, when we were at one of the cons, a former Navy guy that served on ships and submarines said that metal pops all the time, and it does not mean it's paranormal. He says that's a normal action that ships do. You're always going to hear popping sounds from the metal all the time. So like that's the only thing that sucks is like,
Yeah. Okay. Where would it would be all over the ship then, wouldn't it?
well, we did hear it at different places, but I'm just like some of the places, like you said, we couldn't hear because of the AC or heat being turned on. It was raining. So like a lot of that stuff got can contaminate. And I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying there was an explanation that possibly could be it. I could be wrong too, but there was somebody who served on ships that said that does happen quite often.
Well, houses creak quite
Correct.
often. And
So it's more
things
like,
happen quite often.
it's interesting that it happens, but it's not the all be all type thing.
Now, I don't know if you're going to bring this up, but when I was doing the walkthrough by myself, doing B-roll, and I heard that knock right beside me, I thought I was dead. I thought it was the end. So
It sounded like somebody was knocking. Was it?
no, it sounded just kind of like that.
And it's funny, it just happened to be she wasn't recording.
I was recording. And I went towards it. I don't know why the camera didn't catch it.
Yeah, the camera did not
does
catch
not
any
sound
of the
like
audio.
And trust me, I had the camera, and I'm like, look at me being brave. And
She didn't catch it on the camera.
yeah, I was like, look at me being
Hers.
brave. That's when I came
Hers.
outside, and my eyes were watering.
So you guys go in group and tell us a little bit about the sick bay, because the sick bay, as the night progresses, turns into an absolute hot spot. As a group, though, when you guys went in there, what was that like? What did you get anything, Gary?
During group, we really didn't get much of anything.
That was when me and you kind of hit it, and Maeve went by herself, right? When we were in the hallway, we sat down,
Yeah.
and then we locked Maeve in that one spot.
But like there wasn't like a lot that happened during our group in general terms, no matter where we were on the ship. And that's why I like us going solo, because if something's going to happen, it may be intimidated by three of us, or it may just be intimidated by me, like we've experienced at other places. So I like us separating and doing solos because of that whole thing. Things may get completely changed, as you find out with Taylor later at the same exact location, because I don't feel like we got a ton of anything during our group.
No. So we kick off night one investigations, the solos, with Taylor. I know in the past, Taylor and Maeve have talked about who goes first the most, and versus who goes last. But Taylor drew the short end of the stick. Taylor went in first, and man, was it amazing. Taylor. So Taylor, you said that you heard what seems or seemed to be someone talking. You heard someone talking. It was super quiet. I know it was raining. I know weather played a point in that, because like when we were talking, I think Gary even mentioned that it sounded like the water was lapping or something. So can you explain to me when you said it sounds like somebody was talking, did it sound like chatter, like in the distance?
Yeah.
Or did it?
It just sounds like somebody's like, I was like in the distance. You know, that's what it sounds like all the time. So it's hard to hear. It's hard to tell if am I hearing you guys in the tent from very far away?
No, you couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
It wasn't that. Yeah.
It just sounds like mutterings. Nothing you can pick up. It just sounds kind of like creepy talking in the distance, really.
I will say though, that one place, there was that one spot in the ship. I don't even remember where it was, but you could hear the nightclub across the street. But it was
That
just
was
that
right when you
one
came
That's
spot.
that's the lunchroom.
Yeah, it was just that one spot.
Okay, so Taylor, you heard a big thump. There was a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
What I really want to get to is the hawk to it. wait,
Less relevant now than it was a year ago. I think that girl's like getting sued for some kind of crypto fraud.
So I'm curious, like how do you even hear that?
I don't know. Yeah, it sounded like it sounded like someone was like spitting a loogie, and then you hear that ping, which you can see on the footage, and after that, it sounded like a bench scooted, which you can't hear as well on the camera, but it was like those three noises in a row, and that made me like on edge. I was like, whoa, there's something's here with me.
Just for everyone's record, that was the loudest noise I've heard at any location.
And that's when I go around and I sit in that corner where the static cam is, the hallway, and then in the room is the operating room. I think it's the operating room, right? And that's when all hell breaks loose.
Yes, and I'm getting to that.
Okay.
The crystal pod does not go off. Gary, do you agree?
Right, not supposed to.
It's not supposed to go off, right? You agree, Maeve? Crystal pod is not supposed to go off. I agree, crystal pod does not go off. And all the investigations that we've had it has not gone off. Well, guess what, Taylor? It goes off while you're in there by yourself on your solo first night. And I'm like, oh, we got something. And it goes off consistently. You're asking questions. It's kind of, talking back to you, if you will. What was that feeling like? Like,
It's almost like you disassociate. It's
His
like,
soul left his body.
yeah, it's almost like I cannot believe this is happening. I'm not here, am I? Yeah, it's crazy. It's a weird feeling because in your head you're like, okay, nothing's there, but this device is saying something is there.
yes.
It's weird. It's unsettling, but it's almost like you're just paying attention to the noise and like trying to see what am I going to say next? What am I going to do next? What to do? So yeah, it was just wild, and it made that first beep, and then it stopped, and then I said, "Can you do that again?" And then right as I didn't even get again out, halfway through again, it was like. Brrr.
Yeah? Is it cool that I'm here? Set it off.
So it was really cool. I don't know if we haven't had it really go off like that. So I don't know if it's supposed to go like beep 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 beep. But it's almost like a pattern, like it wasn't consistently just going beep 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 beep. So I'm interested to see if we should check that out and see if there's a reason it does that or if that's how it's supposed to do it. But it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you had a insane energy you were talking about, and I don't think you could express it the way, because you're not the greatest at expressing yourself when things are going on, because you're like, okay, the flight or flight kicks in. Like, there's no fight. There's flight or flight. There's two levels. There's like, I'm getting the hell out of here, or I'm thinking about getting the hell out of here. Yeah. And I think you were stuck in that first one where I'm thinking about getting the hell out of here. So you couldn't really tell us what that energy felt like. So could you kind of tell us what that energy felt like now?
I don't know. In this one, really, I think out of all the locations, I didn't feel like running as much as I would have at other locations for the reasons we said before. Like,
right.
It wasn't as dark. not as evil feeling. So I didn't necessarily want to run. I just didn't know what to do. Like, I'm like, what do I do? I just keep trying to talk to it? Yeah, there's no really feeling that I'm feeling besides like, holy shit, that's crazy. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're in that position. Like, it would just be like, holy shit, that's wild. That's basically all I felt.
So Gary draws the second one, right? So he goes in after your energy. And I was thinking, okay, if Taylor goes in and this place is like charged up, Gary has to get something, right? Gary goes in, and this is what I love about Gary's investigation. So he goes in and he hears what, dripping water? Is that what you're going to say?
Yep, because it was raining.
Because it was raining. He heard dripping water. Or footsteps. Because you even said in your interview
first,
on
yes.
camera, you was like, are those footsteps I'm hearing? And I'm like, yes, he's finally hearing something. And then he says, nope, those are...
Water drips. So as I'm standing there by where the first guy had died on the ship, and again, I thought I hear something in the distance, but as I got closer and I took my earpiece out, you could clearly hear it was water dripping. That's what you could hear. You could clearly hear. But when, like he said in his thing, you have 1.5 ears basically when you have an earpiece in. So like my earpiece was on the left, I'm over here and I'm hearing it over here. So when I took it out and I actually really listened, that's when I was like, that's water drips. Okay. But water drips, if you can barely hear it, it does sound like it could be footsteps off in the distance. Yeah. But it was storming. See, that's the thing is like if I would have heard that and it wasn't raining at all, well, there you got footsteps. Yeah. But it was storming out there as you get to in May later. But that's the thing that sucks is like we can't control the weather, but that contaminates some of the evidence because like it gives me something to say, well, this could be what it is. I could be wrong, but there is a logical reasoning behind it.
Right.
That noise could have been.
So this was one of my favorite investigations only because Gary, out of everything he could have heard, Gary heard a meow.
But we've discovered that was.
What was that meow?
Did I tell you what that was?
No. Well, the guy had said that animals have gotten in there before.
I saw a cat on the, you know where the bridge is that connected the gift shop to the boat?
Yeah.
Under there, I saw a cat running around.
Okay, so I possibly couldn't have been a cat. So it would make sense why I heard the meow. As for his reference of why the crystal pod going off, I had actually talked to the lady that created the device. Okay. So the crystal pod works different than a REM pod. REM pod temperatures can set it off. He found out the walkie-talkie can set it off, but the crystal pod's not that way. I asked her, I sent her the clip, and her thought was, I need to do more testing because it's in metal, surrounded by metal. Could that have set it off? She didn't know, so she wanted to test to see if that would be something that is conducive to it and would set it off because of all the metals. Again, at this moment, we still don't know because she has not done a full test to see how that reacts with it surrounded by metal.
Yeah. Okay. And this
so
is...
there's still I can't explain it away at this moment.
Right. And this is, again, still all night one. Maeve, you go in for your solo. And this is one of the first times where I heard anyone say, like, it feels like we're moving. Tell us about that because you know the ship didn't move, right?
Right, but it felt like it was just an odd feeling.
It was raining. The water was.
It felt like we were moving.
Making noises.
Shut up.
Honestly, I couldn't believe how still it felt in there.
To me, it felt like it was.
She said it was moving.
It felt like it was
water,
busy.
Yes.
I couldn't believe. I was like, I didn't feel like we're moving at all. But go ahead.
He's trying to fight you still.
I'm telling you, we are not allowed to go back. Yeah. We are not allowed to go back. No, it did though. It did. I don't know. Maybe it's just vertigo or whatever, but it felt busy and it felt like we were doing stuff. So.
Okay. So when you were shooting B-roll, it was very interesting. You were shooting B-roll. You heard a loud bang. And then Gary comes around the corner and he tells us the story of sitting on the edge of the bed. There was So in their barracks, they have beds that fold up. Well, it's been said in the past that the military would sit on the edge of it and they would jump down and it'd be a loud bang. Very similar to the bang that you heard in the same area. Yep. So if you could tell us a little bit about that when you were shooting B-roll, because you, which us three think is a lie, said that you went into the direction of the...
We have the camera footage. You may not hear the bangs, but you see me go. And you hear me talking about it. And you hear me talking about it.
For the record, I believe you.
Thank you. We have it.
Trying to give good grace.
Yeah.
No, I believe it. I never said I didn't.
And so, no, I was walking through. I heard the bang, scared. Like, it was one of those, it was so loud that I just kind of, like, literally froze. Because we know I freeze. Yeah. And I keep talking and I'm like, okay, if that's you, and I know I've got the look on my face, what am I doing right now? Yeah. And then I heard it around the corner, I want to say down by like the ping pong area, if that's where I'm remembering how that hallway works. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be brave. So I walked down towards it. I didn't hear anything else. I'm like, all right. I got this. And so I'm walking back out. That first bang, though, was enough to make me freeze. And so I'm walking back out, and I stop, and I'm like, okay. I forget exactly what I had said. But I was like, all right, I'm going to head out now. And as soon as I went to walk, it literally sounded like somebody landed, like jumped and landed right behind me. And at that point, I was like, nope. But I mean, like I said, you can see the video. I'm clearly reacting to something. I believe we watched it on the laptop.
What is your thoughts after you heard the story in that moment when I told you the story? Because you heard the story for the first time when I was doing my interview.
Thought that was it. I mean, dude, I was chilling with somebody down there.
No, I mean like when you heard the story of what it was, because you didn't know what it was. When I gave you the backstory, when I was doing my interview, we didn't have the camera on you, but what was your initial reaction to that? I knew I saw
that was about it. like I just stood there. Like that was insane because that was exactly what I had heard. And it made a lot of sense when she said that. Mm. But no, that was, and like I said, I know we didn't get it, the sound or whatever, but to me, that personal experience is going to stick.
We checked the footage and the sound. Like we checked.
I don't know. It was on the laptop.
We watched it in person. And
we watched it there. I'd like to listen to it again.
Yeah, I think we should check it out.
So
deep dive.
That'll wrap up night one. So night one's investigations, we were all feeling pretty good about it because Taylor had the crystal pie go off. Maeve heard a bunch of banging, and we finally got Gary to at least hear a meow sound. We finally got something. So
real life things.
Yeah, real life. He heard something. Yeah, he heard something, right? So we go into night two, and we don't know what to expect. We mix it up a little bit and we go duos. And what I really, really, really love about night two is Gary and Taylor kicked it off. And normally nothing really happens to Gary. I mean, other than the meow and then him saying the talking, which turned into the dripping water. So we go into night two. They're in there together. You guys are in there together, and everything's going off. Mm-hmm. It's interesting watching in real time because you're watching out of fascination. You're watching out of fascination, like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Gary is watching out of, okay, this is setting this off. This is why this is doing this. He's watching to debunk things. Sure. So with that being said, I honestly believe in that room at that particular time, because moving forward, when we go into solos, nothing goes off. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that there was something in there with you guys at the time. So I want you, Taylor, to describe the feeling to me, because I know Gary's feeling is going to be completely different. Of when everything's going off around you, you're like, did it get cold? Did it get hot? Like what's going on in that room that you're feeling that we can't see?
I don't know. I don't remember the temperature being different. It might have been colder, but it was just crazy getting that many consecutive intelligent responses from devices. Like, hey, set that off. Stop setting that off.
Yes.
Set this off. Stop setting that off. It was just like unbelievable. It was really wild to see with Gary in the room, because it's like, see, told you. So yeah, it was just really, really cool. It's one of the probably my favorite moment out of all the investigations we've done. Just being in that 5 minutes in that room.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was truly a bonding moment.
7
minutes in heaven with Gary. Yeah, it was a great.
You know he's gonna get ready to turn that heaven into hell, right? Because he's gonna get ready to tell you.
We all know Gary's full of it.
So Gary, while all these things are going off and Taylor is like absolutely like in the moment, you could tell, face lit up, like he has that Bobby Mackey smile on his face. What you got for us here?
So when the music box goes off first, I love it because I love the music box.
Yeah.
I love the noise it makes. I love it gives you an audible clue, and it just shoots a light in front of it. So like there's not a way to really try to like cheat it. Like you're not going to cheat because you can see what's in front of it. You know there's nothing setting it off. So I love that, and I think just the initial start of walking in, before we even got in the room, we heard it going off. So now my first thought is like, okay, we've had issues with this thing. Is it messing up? Is it malfunctioning? So then we go in and it stops, and then we ask it, do all that stuff. It goes off again, and then it doesn't play the music. So now I'm frustrated. So in the moment, things might be happening, but I'm frustrated. I'm like, this stupid device isn't working the way it's supposed to work. Like it's still spinning. Yeah, but it wasn't making the noise. And I'm like, I want the noise because I think it just builds everything even more. So I'm like frustrated, and I'm like, God, this is ruining something that could be good. Yeah. So I keep having to go press it, and we figured out what it was. We had to replace the rubber band because the rubber band got old. But things like that. And then we set the REM pod on the table, but we never could get or crystal pod. We tried to get it to go off, and it would never go off either. And that's where I'm like, okay, what would set the music box off? If it sets the music box off, it should be able to set the crystal pod off. Mm-hmm. And I think, so like for me, like, yeah, it was cool the music box went off, but I've had it go off before in places, and it's not gonna make me a believer. But now if it would have went and made the crystal pod go off and went back and forth between the two on cues, like that would have been something that's like, I don't have a way of really debunking that. If it's able, hey, can you set this one off this time? Hey, next time set this one off. And it started responding to it. Well, now that is where you start to think, okay, well, maybe there is something that's interacting. And we only had the music box keep going. And that's why I was trying to push more for, can we get the crystal pod to go off? Okay, I understand you got the music box going off, but can we get this to set off? Because I haven't seen the crystal pod go off at this point. So at this moment, I know it went off for him, but I haven't seen it. So I want to see it go off.
It's fascinating, Gary, because we're watching Taylor have a conversation with this box. And you're like, no, this is not happening.
Mine's more frustration because it's not doing the right thing.
I don't think he doesn't think it's not happening. I think he just needs more.
Yeah, it's the devices, because again, devices aren't 100% accurate. I need something probably physical, and I always open myself, scratch me, pull me, do something. I want to see or feel something versus devices, because I just don't like devices. Like they can malfunction. We've had issues with the REM pod, as we talked about, like things like that. Now, like laser grid, if we ever get something walk across the laser grid, that's not a malfunction. Right. If something ever walked across it, that's not debatable. That's something moved across it, especially if there's a camera on it. Like things like that, like that's more, you see that. I can't see something setting the music box off. I love hearing it go off, and it's just a good thing to have. But like, that's not going to make me a believer, because that's why I stuck my hand out. Just touch me. If someone made my hand go down, I'm a believer now.
Everybody in that room would have vacated.
Oh.
Everybody in that room would have vacated.
But I think that's the thing. I know it's probably very unrealistic for that to happen, for me to have that as my goal, but like I think that's what it's going to take for me to truly believe.
Okay. So Taylor comes out
and wants to fight Maeve.
Yes, he does, because Maeve is not as excited as he felt like she should have been.
Lesson learned.
Yes. So Maeve enters with Gary for the second duo. Taylor is now sitting in the tent with me, and we're both watching. And Gary, you noticed something about the crystal pod on the floor.
Yes. So I moved the crystal pod more to where the music box was going off, towards that direction. So if there was something in that area that was setting the music box off, I wanted to try to recreate it with the REM pod. It never went off. Now, it went off a couple times, but we found out there was a place on the floor. Every time I stepped, I guess it did something, and it sent it to the crystal pod and set it off.
Really?
Every time on the same spot. I don't know if it was just the floor that's in there is like a little loose, and it would move that box because it was on the same thing, but it was the same spot every time. I could set it off on cue.
So you could walk around the whole place and it
With
wouldn't
that one little spot, there was a place where you could do it. And Maeve saw it because I wanted to keep testing because we went off when I was walking. I'm like, okay, well, let me see. Walk that again. And it was the same place. Like, okay, well, now let me test. And I found the exact spot and I could set it off on cue. So then I was like, oh, that ruins all of our crystal pod. And then it also went off when the wire was near it, which was weird because I wouldn't think the wire would set it off. But if you hit the wire and it moved near it, but it wasn't touching it, it set it off. Okay. So like we had two different things that would set off the crystal pod, but I could make that set it off. It wasn't something that was doing it on its own. So that we never got it to go off when we weren't near those spots.
Okay. So again, it's the perspective of the investigator, because again, I'm watching Maeve's face and she's in total like shock and like, oh man. And Gary has that tinker look like, okay, all right, what's
Hold, please.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the difference in thinking. So what are you thinking when the crystal pod's going off, Maeve? Because I mean, obviously before you find out the steps, you're like, yo, this is
Like I thought it was something because I mean, again, it doesn't go off.
yes.
But it was pretty easy to see. Like as soon as he passed over that one spot, every single time it went off. So it was a little deflating. But there for a minute, I thought I was going to get to hear the crystal pod.
It was frustrating that when me and Maeve went in, we really didn't get anything. Like from what happened when me and Taylor were in there to me and Maeve, nothing. And that's why I brought up the thing is Taylor has to be a magnet. Because it happened when them two were in there. It happened when he was in a solo. It happened when me and him. So that common denominator, that only thing that changed was Taylor wasn't in there with us at that time. But it didn't happen when we were as a group. And that was the frustrating thing for me is like, so that's what I was telling them. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Taylor and Maeve when they go in, because Taylor was having things happen no matter what he was doing other than group.
Right. Taylor, you was the plug.
He was the catalyst.
Yeah, you were the catalyst. So then, Gary, you and Maeve come out. And then Maeve, you and Taylor go in. This is where it gets really good. Because this is what sounds like the ship, just every banging and clanging noise that the ship can create, it created when you guys went in there. I just want you to try to put a sound to it in terms of what did it sound like? Like, is the banging and clanging, like, did it sound like somebody was beating on it like this? Or was it kind of like a, hey, let me get your attention? How could
No,
you?
it was more like it wasn't a, hey, let me get your attention. It was like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was loud and it was very purposeful sounding. And I have to say, and I don't know how you feel, but when we were walking through the mess hall and that bang, that was so loud, and I was convinced that the air or the heating duct or whatever that was going to come on. Yeah. Like it was that loud, and it never came on. Yeah. So it was big for me, at least. I mean, it felt like everywhere we went there was noise.
Yeah, it was like something was like following us around.
Okay. All right. So we go from duos to solos into night 2. Taylor, you hear what's a bang. I think you even caught it on your phone. Night 2, it didn't. Hold on. This is what didn't make night 2.
No, night 2 was during our duo.
That was duos.
Duos. Okay, we talked about it already, or did you? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let me get back. Solos, night 2. Maeve, you're first up.
Yes.
You go in. I want to know how serious, like you're walking through the ship and you're not getting much. But as you're walking through the ship, you've gotten something when you went in with Taylor. You've gotten something when you were setting up B-roll. How does all of that play into you being in there on your solo?
I think the video of my solo speaks for itself. Really does. I was not having it that second night. I just was not ready, and it felt like I just kept going deeper and deeper into that ship because I know, again, I freeze when I panic, and somebody's gonna have to come get me. Like I will die in that spot. And so the pre-press area or the press area was really cool. Didn't get a lot, but at that point it didn't matter because I got so much had happened to that point. I didn't need anything else really to happen. And it almost felt like every time I asked for something to happen, I really didn't want it to happen. because I was in there by myself, like I was over, I think, 30 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, my hour's up, done. So no, I was already primed for that, and I was over it. We were good.
Okay.
I believed.
So your solo is a little different because during your solo, night one, was that night one when the tent collapsed? Or was that night two? It's night one. Night one in your solo, when the tent collapsed, you were down in there. You were getting pretty much, in my opinion, I thought you were getting some activity, but the tent had collapsed because the weather was so bad with the rain and stuff like that. So when you went in the second night, I was under the impression that, okay, it's just going to be just as active, and there was nothing. What I find out about the ship, the more and more that I watched, is that I'll give my rating again at the end of this, is that it was different for each person that went in. And because it was different for each person that went in and it was the same ship, I know for a fact there was entities on that boat, for sure, on that battleship. Gary, you went in second. And this was the first time in a long time that I've seen you jump. Had nothing to do with any entities or anything like that. But I'm curious to hear from all three of y'all. How loud was the AC unit in that place? Because I couldn't tell how loud it was from where I was, but every one of y'all ass, no matter where it was, would jump every time it would come on. So I'm curious to hear, was it that deafening of how quiet it was to where when it did pop on, or was it just that loud?
So with the ship, there's a constant hum you hear in the ship the whole time.
What?
So like, because just that's what it is. You have a constant hum. You hear it on the video. You can hear a constant hum the whole time. And when the AC kicks on, it's just like when I jumped, Maeve wanted me to go to near the galley area and do all that stuff. And I was like, oh, I heard something right here. And you see me point. And then as soon as I point, you see the AC kick on. And it's like literally right here above me, there was something in this. Oh, AC kicked on. Ooh. Gives you a little chill right there. And I jumped because I wasn't expecting that. And it's right there, super loud. And that's the thing that I didn't like. I wish we could have had the AC or heat turn off, because I feel like you may hear that click down the hall, way down there, it clicking over here. You not realizing the AC's turning on because you don't hear the AC all the way down there, but you hear that initial click and you think it's something. Right. That's the thing I don't like, because it just taints things when you have things turning on and off all the time. That's what sucks about the AC stuff. Like if you could have it on all the time, okay, it's always this sound, but when it stops and turns back on, it just affects your investigation. And that AC and heat was super loud. And there's two main spots. There was one right past the ping pong in that corner area where the hallway is, and then the galley. Those two spots are super loud with the AC and heat. So if it's on, like Taylor said, you can't really do anything in there because it's so deafening with that loud. You got to go somewhere else. You can't stay in that area because you can't really do an investigation because everything is drowned out by the heat or the AC, whatever they had running.
Hear each other talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's loud.
Really?
It's that loud.
And I'm assuming it wouldn't be that loud if there's a lot of people on the ship. But when it's just us, it's really loud because there's nothing else in there.
Okay. So I mean, I know the answer to this, but I need to ask this question for skeptic corner purposes. During the battleships, like when it was doing these non-offensive battles, was there AC and heat on this ship when it was active?
I would say yes. They probably had AC and heat.
When was AC invented?
I have no idea.
Dude, you mean to tell me they had AC on this battleship when there's no way. That's an amenity.
Why would they add AC and heat to this battleship?
Because it's not moving anymore. It's out of service now. It's a
Yeah, but
it's a structure. It's a building
But
now.
it's been out of service since like the 80s? 90s? When did they stop it out of service? There was some because that would not be an easy job to run AC. I don't know if you could.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't. There's no way that they had AC on that battleship, bro. There's no way. If you're saying that it's as loud as it is,
It would
there's
get
no
so
way.
hot down there. I don't know if they could. It'd be so hot down there if they didn't have AC.
Did they have AC, man?
I'm Googling.
Okay, we'll find out. So Taylor, you went in as your the third person to do solo. You also did an EVP too.
Did not have AC or heat.
When
It had ventilation systems
So it did get outside air though.
and ductwork to circulate the air throughout the compartments.
So they had air. But,
And it had steam heating
What?
so they did have heat.
in some area. Via steam heating in some area, no to central air, but limited cooling was available in key operational spaces.
Yeah, bro. There was no AC. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So, did you check the EVP? You did the electronic voice phenomenon. Did anything show up?
No, I didn't get much in the solo.
Okay. You went in. It was also super noisy for you. Not from an AC standpoint, though.
Yeah.
From a ship noise standpoint. What do you equate the banging to?
Well, it's less banging, more footsteps and
okay.
mumblings. And it could be just because it was so late and I was getting tired. You know, you stay up late and it's that 3 a.m. feeling where you're like, "Oh, I need to go to bed, but I'm trying to push through." So I don't know if it was that, but it sounded like it was all around me. Like it was just like little small whispers and little footsteps all around me. It's just like, geez. It's like there's a lot of things going on here. I'm just going crazy.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. Again, this goes back to what I said earlier. You go in for your solo. She goes in for her solo. He goes in for his solo. None of the devices go off. None of them have been moved. They're still sitting in the same spot. Granted, he hadn't stepped in that spot where the crystal pod goes off, but nothing goes off. Yeah. So you go back to when your duo, where the music box is just going crazy. That's what made me say, oh, there's something here. There was something in there when you and Gary were in there for your duos that's no longer there now because nothing is going off. I'm talking about that place went dead silent and the AC didn't even kick on. Yeah. That's why I believe that it was something in there, which now brings us back to what we rated this investigation and why. I look back and Taylor, you rated this investigation real time a 10. 10. Are you still at a 10? Yes. If you are, why? If you're changing it, why?
I'm still at a 10. I think I said A tier in the video, or in the investigation. I'm going to change that to S tier, which is higher than A. I think it was great. Great evidence. I got it consistent on both nights. I got different kinds of evidence from different devices. I got intelligent responses. To me, it was like the complete package. The only thing, I guess, that prevented it from being like, I guess I should just keep it A tier. From S tier is like we didn't see a full body apparition. That's like the only thing I think was missing.
Okay. Maeve?
I concur. I did a 10.
Yes, you did.
And I keep it a 10.
Like
Okay.
I feel that place is one of the most haunted places
No.
in America.
Wow, Gary. You so Gary, you rated it a 5. And we're talking about from a paranormal aspect. We're not talking about from a military aspect. We're not talking about from the beauty of the ship aspect. We're talking about from a paranormal aspect. You gave it a 5. Are you staying at a 5? You gonna take it lower? You gonna take it higher? What are you doing?
So with this one, I'm going to give you two grades.
Okay.
So the first grade is my personal,
Okay.
and my second grade is the overall investigation. So my first grade for the personal, for what I would rate it, I would leave it at a 5, just because of what we got with me and Taylor during our duo. That was interesting. We had something happen. Thought that was cool. So like I would leave that a 5, but it wasn't like, oh my God, stuff for me. So I can't get it higher. Now, as an investigation, I'd probably give it a 6.5, because seeing the stuff that Taylor got with the crystal pod and all that kind of stuff and all the other stuff that happened during the episode, I think that moves it up to, as an investigation, we had more evidence. So I would give it a 6.5 for the investigation, but my personal's a 5. Just because I only experienced when it was me and him. I got nothing else the whole time I was in there. And again, I want something for me. Right. Now the reason why I got the 5 was because of what me and Taylor experienced. Otherwise, it would have been a 2 or 3.
Yeah. And because we're going off experiences, I really want to rate this from an 8 to a 10, but I cannot, because we're talking about experiences, and I'm gonna go an 8 to a 9. It would have been a 10 had we not lost the 10 and I not lost communication with Maeve, and had the total collapse night 1. I'm going to a 9. Yeah, that means the battery died. I'm going with a 9, and I'm going with a 9 because of all the activity that was presented in front of me, and then all the non-activity after. You don't get all that to go off, and then the next night when you go into solos, it does not. So there had to be something in there. Again, I want to apologize to Taylor, because I wasn't as excited as I needed to be when you guys came out there, because you guys were the first ones to go in. And because you were the first ones to go in, I just assumed that, oh man, everybody that go in here is going to get this kind of activity. Yeah. And then they did not. And I was like, okay, I should have been excited in that moment, and I wasn't. So I apologize to you about that. So I raised it from an 8 to a 9. Would have been a 10 had I not lost the 10. Yeah. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining us for another Skeptic's Corner. What I'm excited about is where we're going next.